Chapter 41 Overlord Black Crab Beast. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Why would we be strangers? I'll bring you along and keep you with me forever. Not gonna let any Shilong temple or divine realm people hurt you again. He said, ruffling her blonde hair. And Shui Ro. She doesn't know about us, she mumbled, thinking he would hesitate because of her. I'll tell her after we finish the final trial. Let's go now, we should finish the task at hand. He stood up from the bed and gazed toward their next destination. Tsang Shui stored the stuff inside her spatial ring as they prepared to leave. The couple looked back at the place for one last time before walking through the big gate on the ascended platform. As they crossed the gate, everything around them changed and the doorway they used to come to disappeared from behind them. The sea was calm and peaceful. The gentle lapping of the waves against the shore was the one sound the duo heard. However, a giant black crab monster emerged from the depths of the ocean, its enormous claws raised as it let out a deafening roar. It was 4 meters in size and its claws were shining in silver which was sharp as a blade. The body was all black and its red eyes filled with rage. Yu Yan stood at the edge of the shore with Tsang Shui. His face was relaxed as he wasn't worried about his upcoming target. There was another ascended platform 100 meters away. The door was closed this time. Looks like we have to defeat the Overlord Black Crab Beast to open the doorway, Tsang Shui said in a nonchalant voice. Yeah, but I'll fight it alone. You wait here. His voice was calm as the boy decided to take it solo. No, I'll also assist you. The girl requested. That won't be required. He closed his eyes and focused his all-spirit energy to summon the ultimate skill of Guardian Shield. As the giant black crab saw the new prey, it let out an enraged roar and charged toward them, its massive claws outstretched to attack. Yu Yan wasn't bothered by it as he opened his eyes which glimmered with golden light. Guardian's Judgment. He shouted the name and called forth the wrath of the Guardian Shield Spirit. The sky turned dark as a big blazing meteor appeared in thin air. Yu Yan summoned the meteor, directing the ultimate attack towards the giant crab. The meteor hurtled towards the Overlord Black Crab Beast with incredible speed, leaving a trail of fire in its path. The scene was magnificent, majestic, and terrifying to see as it created great pressure in the air and increased the temperature in the surroundings. The Overlord Black Crab Beast felt an intense threat to its life, but all it could do was defend itself, raising its silver claws to block the incoming strike. The meteor was a similar size to the place Shui Ro lived in the inner court of Tian High Academy. The meteor crashed into the monster, causing a deafening explosion. The giant crab shrieked in pain as its body was crushed beneath it. The sound of the meteors colliding with the shore sent shockwaves through the air, causing the ground to shake under Tsang Shui's feet. She stood there for a moment, staring at the smoldering remains of the giant crab, and the big crater as the meteor vanished after doing its job. The door of the gate opened on the ascended stage as Yu Yan defeated the monster. Tsang Shui walked to him and said, "You're making me wonder if that monster was really at 50 spirit energy rank." "Let's exit from here now," Yu Yan said. They entered the final door. A bright hall appeared with marble columns and a high domed ceiling. The floor was made of the same white marble, and it was polished to a mirror-like shine. In the center of the room stood a white statue of a woman. She was dressed in flowing robes and had a serene expression on her face. It seemed to be a statue of a goddess from the divine realm. Yu Yan and Tsang Shui entered the white hall, their footsteps echoing off the marble floors. There was a picture frame on the left side wall which was flashing like a television from the earth. Some people in extravagant robes were talking. "That's people from the divine realm," Tsang Shui mumbled. Yu Yan narrowed his eyes as the couple watched the scene playing in front of their eyes. It was a grand hall, with high vaulted ceilings and walls adorned with tapestries and paintings depicting mythical battles and triumphs. A long, polished wooden table was placed in the center of the room, surrounded by high-backed chairs. At the head of the table sat an old man, a regal figure in a flowing robe and crown, who looked to be king. He was surrounded by many people, who are all dressed in fine garments and are attentive to his words. At the opposite side of the table was sitting a bald old man who looked as important as the one with the crown. Shillong Temple is rising again. How are we going to stop it this time? The bald old man said in a worried tone. Our only option is that person. The one with the crown spoke as if he had thought about it carefully. You mean Jean Long? The bald old man asked in puzzlement, his voice flickering with fear. Yeah. The king said in a composed manner as if he wasn't worried. But isn't he more dangerous than Shillong Temple? The bald man questioned. Do you have any other solution then? And moreover, he won't harm us as long as we don't provoke him, the king spoke to answer him. But we need to restrict his power or he will destroy the balance in destiny stars of the lower world. The bald man said in a worried tone. I have solutions for that. We just need to seal his golden dragon bloodline power. The king's face was decorated with a confident smile as he came up with a good plan to solve the problem. The scene on the frame ended and another voice resounded in the hall that was coming from the statue. Congratulations, you both have finished the trial. Before I give you your reward, I'll answer 3 questions you ask me. A female lady's voice spoke to them that was coming from the statue. Yu Yan raised his eyebrows but kept his calm and decided to finish the trial by asking the question first. Moreover, he had a few queries he wanted to ask the statue lady if she could answer him. Where is Binger and how is she? He asked as this was the question that bothered him most. The darkness always remains beneath the candle even though it lit up the whole room. Right now Shengwan Binger is at the outer court of Tianhai Academy. She had awakened a blue-grade spirit and couldn't control it. Her memories are in bad condition as she was in a coma for 16 years and woke up in her body a few years ago. Shangwan Binger dislikes if someone goes near her including her parents. However, her life is about her sister Linger who she cherishes the most. Moreover, the students at the academy fear her or even bully her, the voice of the unknown lady answered him. Why was it said in the dream trial by that person, you will have to fight Shengwan Binger and many others along with her who have been summoned to support Shillong Temple to capture Zhang Shui? Dead or alive, wasn't she supposed to support Zhang Shui against Shillong Temple? Yu Yan asked with puzzlement. Yeah, that is true. She would support Zhang Shui but the prophecy said Shillong Temple may able to find all the summoned people one by one after regaining its true power and then they would influence them to capture Zhang Shui for the sacrosanct, the lady responded, her voice filled with great wisdom. How can I save her then? The boy asked. He couldn't let any of his women get harmed, either Zhang Shui in his first life or you in his second life. Yu Yan was going to save them all. The reward I'll give you is related to your dual cultivation. It will create a connection between you and your partner. Neither you nor them would be able to betray each other. So if you're able to conquer your girlfriend's heart before Shillong Temple regains its power then you don't have to worry about it. The lady spoke with a gentle tone. Okay, understood. Yu Yan said. Here is your reward and good luck, the lady's voice sounded for the last time before a bright light enveloped the duo. Underscore 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 underscore. Please vote with power stones and golden tickets to support this book. Like it. Add to the library. Edited by The White Snow. Chapter 42 Shui Rose Coldness Tantrum. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Here is your reward and good luck, the lady's voice sounded for the last time before a bright light enveloped the duo's body. They appeared outside at the underground cave doorway from which they had entered the trial ground previously. A notification rang in his mind as he received the rewards for completing the trial. The middle-aged man was sitting in a meditative state and opened his eyes to give the duo one look before closing them. The lovebirds left the underground cave doorway. It was a bright day as the sun was spreading a golden glow over the inner court's buildings and grounds. The students were enjoying the warm weather and talked to each other in their group. "Where would you go now?" Yu Yan asked the blonde-haired beauty beside him. "I'll follow you since I'm staying at the white cottage beside the one where Shui Rou lives," Sun Shui said with a playful smile. "You were there all the time?" He furrowed his brows, finding she was at a close distance. Not really. I was with Yuna," she said with a bright smile. "I haven't met her yet, but first I'll need to go back and tell big sister Shui Rou that I have come back. She might be worrying." Yu Yan said, his voice was relaxed. "Yu Yan. There is one more thing you need to know," Sun Shui said all of a sudden as he was going back to meet Shui Rou and she was reminded of their conversation from the past. "What is it?" he asked, scrunching his eyebrows. "When you transmigrated into this body, you didn't merge with someone else's soul. You just merged with your own soul," Sun Shui said in a serious tone and threw a landmine. "How is that possible?" He frowned as the boy was perplexed by her statement. It was hard to believe he was Meng Long since he had come from the earth after living for many years. "When you died in your previous life to sacrifice for godhood trial, your soul was split into two. It was done by the divine realm to save this world from the Shillong Temple. Your primary soul was reincarnated on earth where you retained your memories. The other soul was reborn as Meng Long who didn't remember anything and kept your bloodline powers. And this was all done so you don't get stronger before the Shillong Temple rose to power, or it could have unbalanced the destiny stars of the lower world." Tsang explained the truth. "It's hard to believe what you're saying, but if this body holds my bloodline power, then why can't I feel it?" he asked in puzzlement. "In the system shop, you should have got an option to buy its awakening." The blonde-haired beauty answered his question. "But I don't have enough coins," Yu Yan replied in a bitter tone. "You would need to do quests that it may give." Sun Shui mumbled. "It doesn't have any quest at the moment. Forget it, we should return now." He spoke to her as the boy decided to go back first and worry about it later. Yu Yan went back towards the north side of the inner court and walked through the trees to go where extravagant white cottages were located. He knocked on the door of the fifth one as a black-haired beauty opened the gate. "Meng Long, you have come. Master said that you and Princess Tsang Shui are taking longer to finish Tianhai's trial." "I was worried." Shui Rou's face brightened up as she saw he was all right. "Yeah, I'm fine," Yu Yan said in a calm voice. Shui Rou opened the door wide and let him come inside the big hall. Tsang Shui followed in and spoke politely, "Hi, I'm Tsang Shui." "Ah, hello, Princess." Shui Rou politely greeted her as she didn't expect her to accompany her boy. Blonde-haired beauty had previously talked to Shui Rou, introducing her as Yu Yan's loyal wife, so the girl didn't know her name and didn't recognize her. Shui Rou indicated the guest to take a seat on the couch. Tsang Shui sat on the couch while Yu Yan took the seat beside her and Shui Rou went to the opposite one. "I have to tell you something, big sister Shui Rou." Yu Yan prepared to tell her the important news. "What is it?" Shui Rou frowned in puzzlement. "Tsang Shui is my wife," he told her, keeping himself collected. "What do you mean?" Shui Rou didn't understand as this was an absurd thing to say all of a sudden. "I mean what I said. This girl beside me is my wife," he said in a nonchalant manner. "How can she be your wife?" she asked as her voice was filled with surprise and sadness. The girl didn't want to believe what he told her, so she asked again to confirm it. "It's a long story," Yu Yan answered her, not taking it seriously as if this was a normal thing to say. Shui Rou was feeling bitter as the boy she adored married another girl. Her heart was in pain, learning her Meng Long had brought another wife without even accepting her as his wife with holy rituals. "Oh," she said one sentence before standing up to leave the room. Her face had become cold, matching her inner court name. The Ice Princess. She entered her bedroom and closed the door. What happened to her? Yu Yan asked the blonde-haired beauty as if the boy didn't understand the sudden development. You should have explained our relationship better to her. Which girl would like that they loved you so much all their life and you suddenly married another girl? She directed the question to himself. I'll really not be able to understand you girls. He sighed and shook her head in disappointment. Yeah. Like you boys are so great hurting us girls because of being stupid. Sang Shui rebuked him in a jolly manner. The boy completely ignored her teasing statement. Okay. Tell me, how can I get into the outer court? Yu Yan asked the question that was most important to him as he wanted to find his binger. New students need to have their spirit energy rank at 30 before the age of 19 to enter the first year. Sang Shui answered. Shangguan Binger is in second year of the outer court. Yuna's voice sounded to the couple in their mind as she sent the spiritual message to them. What are the requirements to enter the second year? The boy asked in a questioning tone. You need to spend 1 year in the first year and pass the final exams. Sang Shui said as she knew the answer. Damn it. Yu Yan cursed as he didn't like the requirement. The boy wanted an easy solution to meet his binger as soon as possible. Don't worry about it. I'll get you into the second year, Yuna said to him via telepathy as her voice was filled with deep affection. She didn't like seeing him in worry. And how would you do that? Yu Yan asked, raising his brows. Because the Tianhai Academy was founded by Yuna. She is the founder of this place. Even if it was another academy, no one would try to refuse her request. You don't have any idea how many people she had saved using her power and healed them. The continent worships her as the great saintess. But sadly, she would be the first woman who is helping her man to court another girl he likes. Heartless husband. Sang Shui teased him in a playful manner. Yuna. When would you help me? The boy shamelessly ignored Sang Shui's remarks and talked about his demands. Tomorrow you can go and attend the outcourt second-year class. I'll tell the headmaster to take care of arrangements for the second-year class for outer court so you can study there. Yuna responded in a sweet voice. Thanks, Yuna. He expressed his gratitude. I'll go back to my house and get freshened up. You should probably go and cheer up Shui Ro. She would be feeling sad after how you described our relationship. Sang Shui said in concerning the tone and suggested him after standing up. Okay, that I'll try. The boy responded as he thought he really need to fix this. The blonde-haired beauty left the fifth white cottage house to go into her. Yu Yan knocked on the door of Shui Ro's bedroom. As he continuously knocked, a chilly voice asked, What do you need? Let me come inside, the boy said as he hadn't come up with a good plan to soothe her anger. You don't have to. Shui Ro replied to him from inside. I'll break the door if you don't let me come in. Yu Yan's voice was filled with certainty as it didn't seem like he was joking. You don't have to break it. I'll open it. Wait a min. The black-haired beauty responded in a stiff voice. After a few minutes passed, the girl opened the door hearing his unnecessary threat, and went to sit on the couch. Her hair was wet so it seemed she had washed her face before opening the door. Yu Yan went to sit beside her as he was planning how to convince her. She had taken out a book to read and ignored the black-haired boy, giving him cold shoulder. Underscore 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 underscore. Please vote with power stones and golden tickets to support this book. Like it. Add to the library. Edited by The White Snow. Chapter 43. Don't be such a bully. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yu Yan moved his hand to hug her from behind. He placed his neck on her shoulder and his hands were wrapped around her stomach. She saw his hand on her tummy and slapped it gently with hers to make him withdraw it. It hurts, big sister Shuero. Yu Yen cried out in pain as he was pretending to be in suffering to melt her cold heart. After seeing his pleading didn't work, he hugged her for the second time. Shuero slapped his hands again with a similar impact, as she was well aware he was trying to soothe her anger. This time she also used her legs to push him away from herself. Hey, I'm hungry, he decided to ask for food and wanted to see how she reacts. Go ask your wife. Saying that she went to her room. Yu Yen followed in as he saw the girl lying on the bed, she was trying to sleep. He also went to the bed to lay down on it and placed his hands between her head and looked into her crimson eyes. Shuero stared into his eyes as he was above her body and his legs were between hers. Yu Yan's face started getting closer to her as Shuero's heart started thumping faster and she looked very nervous. Their lips were almost about to touch and they could feel each other's breath on one another's skin. Shuero's rounded chest could be seen rising and falling. The boy gave her a gentle smile before placing her head on her well-endowed melons as he didn't kiss her and was just teasing the girl. He could feel her frantic heartbeat and the scent of lily as his face was right on her plumpy mounds that were soft, comfortable and pleasing to the heart. Shuero felt relieved as she was too scared of the sudden kiss. You should get mad more often, big sister Shuero. I like this adorable side of yours. I was just teasing you with the half-truth because I wanted to see this cuteness of yours that you were hiding. Yu Yen mumbled while he was laying above her. He had planned to be playful with her and find her reaction after the boy discovered he was the real Meng Long. Yu Yen avoided explaining as he wanted to experience the mad side of this sweet girl. I'm not going to get influenced by your buttering. The girl said in a cold voice. If you really don't gonna get influenced by my butter talking then push me away from the top of yourself. The boy spoke in a calm manner, his voice was filled with confidence. Don't be such a bully. Shuero said with puffed cheeks. She wanted to be mad at him but the black-haired beauty couldn't make herself push him away from herself. Sorry for hurting you since my arrival. I didn't know Meng Long's soul was part of me. Yu Yen spoke in a quiet tone. How did you find out? Shuero asked in a surprised voice as she heard him find out he was the real Meng Long. Did you already know? Yu Yen questioned as the boy didn't know Zhang Shui had talked to her previously. Yeah, your loyal wife told me. Shuero said in a bitter voice and told him the truth. That's Zhang Shui, the boy replied in a nonchalant tone. Didn't you marry her after coming to the academy? The black-haired beauty asked, raising her eyebrows as she misunderstood him earlier. Nah. She is my wife from the past life. In that life, she was also known as Zhang Shui for whom Jin Long sacrificed himself, he explained in a composed manner. Like I would believe that he is the husband of goddess Zhang Shui. Moreover, that little princess looks mischievous, she can't be a goddess. If you were the husband of goddess Zhang Shui then why do people only know the love story of Jin Long and goddess and not Zhang Shui and Yu Yen? Shuero questioned him as she didn't believe his lie. Because I'm Jin Long, Yu Yen said in a casual manner. Yeah, then I'm also the saintess. Don't fool me, I'm not a child. Shuero spoke in a cute manner as her voice was filled with exasperation. Saintess is also my lover so I'm not fooling, the boy said in an amusing tone. I don't believe you and I am not forgiving you even if you make up such stories, Shuero said with puffed cheeks. Okay. Let go to the saintess, I'll prove you there. Yu Yen said, rolling on the bed before climbing down. I'm not coming. Shuero replied as she was mad at him, let's see. Yu Yen responded in a composed manner. He placed his knee on the bed and wrapped his hands around her body to take her in a bridal carry. Is this better? Yu Yen asked as their eyes met and he walked out of the bedroom. There are other students outside who would see us. Shuero said as her face became coyish. Let them know that their ice princess is mine. The boy declared. You're unreasonable. The black-haired beauty said as she placed her head on her muscular chest and wrapped her hand around his neck. Deep down she was delighted when Yu Yen called her mine. Her heart fluttered with happiness as her madness was reduced by a little. Yu Yen wore the mask before coming out of the white cottage. As they walked into the inner court area, students started noticing them and their mouth was agape. They never expected such development to happen as they thought the new boy with her was her younger brother. Hey, look, whoa. How did he conquer the frozen princess? Didn't they say the new masked guy was her younger brother? They weren't sure. It seems he is her lover. What would we do now? That bastard stole our goddess from us. I heard there is a new beautiful girl in the inner court named Sang Shui. She is my new goddess since Ice Princess is conquered. Yeah, that I also heard that she is a princess. Aren't we also geniuses of the continent? We may have a chance. The students kept talking to themselves and discussed about their new goal as they saw their goddess being stolen by somebody else. The duo went towards the east where the flower garden was situated. Their senses were enveloped by aromatic flowers as their face brightened. Yu Yen saw the white temple in the middle of a pond and stood in front of it. You shouldn't disturb her resting with your playfulness. The saintess doesn't allow anyone here and won't even meet elders. Shui Ro tried to convince Yu Yen as she thought he may anger her. A golden lotus appeared out of nowhere in front of them. Yu Yen stepped on it as his body started going toward the white temple. Shui Ro's face was dazed as she saw this happening. As they went towards the other side of the pond, a staircase appeared that led him downwards. Although I can keep you in my hug for all day, but here you need to get down from the bridal carry, Yu Yen said to the black-haired beauty. Why? Shui Ro questioned at his unexpected demand. Her voice was still filled with surprise as they had passed the pond of the white temple easily. You will understand in a few seconds, he said, helping her to stand as she was reluctant to climb down his carry. As they descended the white staircase, a grand hall appeared in front of them. The interior of the Saintess temple was very extravagant and different than how the exterior looked. The main hall had a high ceiling, with the walls adorned with intricate designs and golden leaves. The floor was made of polished marble, and the scent of orchids wafted through the air. Just as Shui Ro was busy observing the surroundings, a figure came with rushed steps and threw herself at Yu Yen. The boy didn't resist as the pink-haired beauty snuggled into his warm embrace. The girl had waited for thousands of years, which she spent with tears and sadness as she was only left alone in this world with their past memories. I hate you so much, Yuna said as her eyes started running with tears. Yu Yen took her in a hug and sat down on the floor. He let her cry her heart out, caressing her back. Shui Ro's eyes were wide open as she saw her, Meng Long, getting hugged by the great saintess. She never imagined that he was telling her the truth. Yu Yen ruffled the girl's silky pink hair as she was tearing in his hug and snuggling into him tightly as if he would disappear. Underscore 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 underscore. Please vote with power stones and golden tickets to support this book. Like it. Add to the library. Edited by The White Snow. Chapter 44. A Meal with Three Beauties. You're listening at novelfull.audio. Yu Yen ruffled the girl's silky pink hair as she was tearing in his hug and snuggled into his warm embrace tightly as if he would disappear if she let go. The boy looked at her appearance as she hadn't changed much. The girl had muted pink hair that was tied at the bottom. Her purple eyes were filled with tears for her Yu Yen. She was in a flowing outfit with a feather head accessory that enhanced her ravishing beauty. As she was sobbing, a question puzzled the boy. I don't understand, why didn't you come to meet me after I arrived? Yu Yen asked her as he was sure the girl should have come to meet him right away when he came to Tian High Academy. I promised Sang Shui I would let her hug you first if she forgive me, Yuna said, her voice was flickering with heavy emotions. These girls are having a competition who would hug me first. At least their bonding is much better than I imagined, he thought as he found the first idea amusing. The boy asked, but why you agreed when you knew we had misunderstandings and I wouldn't let her get close to me? Do you think you can stop her domineering advance on you? She was already in your embrace even before the misunderstanding cleared between you two. Yuna mumbled as she knew Sang Shui very well. Yu Yen sighed, knowing Yuna was right, and just let her stay in the hug to calm down. He also enjoyed embracing the pink-haired beauty as she was his closest bonding after Sang Shui. When Yuna stopped crying she stayed in his lap and kept her head in his warm embrace. L.RG, so do you now, believe me, big sister Shui Ro? Yu Yan asked the girl who was watching them with astonished eyes from a few meters away. Even though Yuna stopped crying after 30 minutes, Shui Ro felt it was just a few minutes as she was busy observing the two legendary figures from the past. Big sister Shui Ro. He called her again as she was dazed. Oh. The black-haired beauty didn't know how to respond. Yu Yan inquired with his eyes for her to answer as she was gazing at him. I believe you now. But it's hard to accept that my Meng Long is legendary Jin Long. Shui Ro said in a quiet tone. Do you forgive me then? He asked in a calm voice. Yeah. I'm sorry for misunderstanding you. Shui Ro said in an apologetic manner. Can you call me Yu Yan from now on please? He requested her in a polite tone. I'll try. The black-haired beauty said as she couldn't process many words in her mind to answer him right now. The girl sat beside him on the floor and tried to digest the new information she had received today. Yuna and Yu Yan talked to each other as the pink-haired beauty told him about herself and how she stayed for thousands of years all alone. After some time passed. Sang Shui is calling us as she has prepared food, we should go before it gets cold, Yuna said to Yu Yan. Okay, but won't you get us too much attention? The boy asked, knowing she was the great saintess of this treasure country. I'll use something similar to you, Yuna said, bringing a veil and wearing it over her adorable face. Even after covering, it failed to hide her charm and added a mystery to her beauty. She had an alluring figure and her new appearance made her more enchanting. We can go now. Yu Yan said, carrying her up before putting her down. Okay, Yuna responded as she collected herself to leave. The boy looked at Shui Ro and held her hand to not make her feel like an outsider. The black-haired beauty was joyous in her heart as the boy didn't forget her. The trio left the white temple as the golden lotus pad carried them outside. The inner court students gave them a stare of surprise as usual and confirmed that the masked guy was a playboy who conquered two beautiful goddesses in no time. Although they failed to realize one of the girls accompanying him was the great saintess herself. After going deep into the north side of the inner court where dense vegetation was present, they entered the fourth cottage that belonged to Sang Shui. It was similar to the fifth house of Shui Ro with a big hall, 2 bedrooms with a kitchen, and attached bathrooms. The hall had 2 couches placed opposite to each other and a table was in the middle. Sang Shui had decorated the table with many plates and bowls topped with different kinds of foods which included fried grand fish, roasted abyss angora, and lunar lime rolls. Yu Yan sat with Yuna as she was reluctant to leave him, making Shui Ro and Sang Shui sit together. The blonde-haired beauty placed the plate for everyone and served them food. Let me help you, princess. Shui Ro volunteered to aid her. Nah, you sit there. I'll serve today. You can do it another day since we are all one family. Also, don't call me princess. I'm your big sister since I'm his first wife. Sang Shui didn't let her feel like an outsider and informed her she would be doing this task next time. Additionally, she also declared herself as the leader of Yu Yan's women's camp as she was the first and big sister of all those who came after her. Shui Ro had a better impression of how Sang Shui treated her. After finding she was the goddess, the girl was nervous around her. She also liked how Princess wanted Shui-Ro to call her big sister, but it made the black-haired beauty feel shy as she understood the meaning behind Sang Shue's words. The princess was telling her that the black-haired beauty was also one of Yu Yan's women and she would be her younger sister since Princess had married him first. After the food was served, Yuna and Shui-Ro all started eating while Yu Yan was in deep thought about meeting his bringer tomorrow. Here, Sang Shui said with a gentle smile and moved her hand to feed him. He looked at her surprisingly and opened his mouth to take the food bite as her fingers touched his lips. The blonde-haired beauty wanted to feed him first before eating herself as this was a habit from her previous life. As they all eat, Shui-Ro understood why she was his first wife and why Yu Yan would have married Sang Shui. The princess loved the boy immensely as she didn't even shy away from feeding him with her own hands and he didn't refuse it either. They were too close that even Yuna couldn't match it after staying with him in Sang Shui's absence in his previous life. After finishing the lunchtime meal, Yuna said, "Tomorrow you will be attending the second-year class at Outer Court, but don't forget to return here when you're done. I'll stay here at Sang Shui's place and make it my home from now on." "Okay." Yu Yan mumbled. In the night, Shui-Ro also stayed at the fourth cottage with everyone as this was Yu Yan's main house and all his women wanted to stay with him together. "Let's change it," the boy said as he entered the second bedroom that was originally the guest room. Sang Shui understood what he meant. She said with a knowing smile, "Leave it to me. I should have enough materials in my spatial ring. I'll fix it." Yuna and Shui-Ro watched from the side as they didn't understand what the couple was talking about. Sang Shui brought out 4 beds and placed them around the bedroom, setting them up like a responsible wife for her husband's guests as the other 3 watched her doing everything alone. It appeared the goddess had really become his maid, but it was only because she loved him unconditionally and didn't mind doing these minor jobs to serve him to make him happy. Yuna took the right bed while Shui-Ro went to the left one. Sang Shui and Yu Yan had to take the 2 in the middle. After they all occupied their bed they talked for a while before drowning in sleepiness. The next day, when the boy woke up he found Sang Shui beside him, snuggling into his chest like an adorable sleeping kitty as she had shifted from her bed to sleep with him. Shui-Ro and Yuna were still asleep as it was early in the morning. Yu Yan moved to peck the blonde-haired beauty's forehead before climbing out of the bed carefully. He went to the bathroom to freshen up and changed into a new set of clothes that Sang Shui had arranged for him yesterday. Today he was finally going to meet his bringer for the first time after arriving in this world. ===///////////////////////////// Snow note, important, the novel will be renamed to My 5 Beautiful Girlfriends in the Spirit World in a week or 2 as that name would suit it better. _______________________ Please vote with Power Stones and Golden Tickets to support this book. Like it. Add to the library. Edited by The White Snow. Chapter 45 Shangguan Binger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As he freshened up to get into a new set of clothes prepared by Sang Shui, he appeared as if he was a young master from a prominent clan. Yu Yan was going to take off the mask for his outer court classes as he wasn't planning to hide his face from Binger and didn't have to go through the spirit appraisal test. Just as he was ready, the pink-haired beauty's eyes fluttered as she woke up. Looking at his students get up, a gentle smile spread on her sleepy face and she said, "Seeing you this way makes me remember our teenage years again. You look great as always. By the way, the headmaster has already assigned you to the second year, you just have to say you're Yu Yan and they would let you in. Don't forget you're in Section D along with Shangguan Binger." He nodded and watched her attentively giving him information even though she had just woken up. "Oh, I forgot. Take this academy map with you as you're unfamiliar with the outer court. Good luck with your class." She took out a folded brown paper from her spatial ring, offering it to him with a bewitching smile. As she completed her sentence, the boy looked at her adorable sleeping face, putting his knee on her bed and getting closer to her. "Thanks," he whispered and pecked her delicate cheeks before taking the map from her hand. This unexpected act of his caused her to become beet red even though she desired to be intimate with him. On the opposite side, Shuero was still asleep like a cute squirrel as she was awake all night thinking about how she was living with the three legendary people. After he was all done, he walked out of the fourth white cottage to go towards the outer court's gate. The western doorway was the gate to enter the outer court of Tian High Academy, which was usually used by the inner court students, teachers, and elders. Yu Yan was wearing the mask to hide his identity from the inner court students as he passed through the big gate before using blink skill. His figure vanished and appeared right at the branch of an enormous thick tree. He took off his mask and stored it in the system inventory before bringing out the map Yuna had given him. Behind the western doorway was a vast land spread. On the north side was teacher living quarters along with extravagant houses for children from great clans. Going further north-west direction was located the restaurants and shops to buy things which were built by the academy for its students and teachers. In the south were Outcourt Academy's dorms built for students, and beside it was teaching buildings. And to the southwest was an expanded training ground that was big enough to let a few classes train together at their own places. There was also a structure behind it which was the Tian High Academy's arena. Yu Yan climbed down the tree and started going towards the teaching building as he thought there he may find information regarding his second-year class. A girl was about to enter the teaching building. She had brown hair and looked to be in her early 20s. He hurriedly asked her, "Senior sister, do you know where would be section D class for the second year right now?" "Are you a new student?" the girl asked as she inspected the handsome boy in front of her. "Yes, I'm," Yu Yan said in a composed manner. "I think it's already started. You should hurry and go to the training ground as I saw the second-year students of all 4 sections with their own class teachers just a moment ago." "You will find everyone there," the girl said with a smile. "Thank you, senior sister." Yu Yan expressed his gratitude as she nodded with a bright face before entering the teaching building for attending her own class. A girl with white hair stood in the training ground, surrounded by her classmates. Her sapphire blue eyes were afraid, but her adorable face was filled with tranquility. If she stood near Yuna and Shuero she might overshadow their beauty because there was an additional charm about this girl. They had been practicing their powers, but something was wrong with the white-haired beauty as she didn't want to summon her power. "You're a demon. You're a weirdo. She can't even control her powers. Are you going to complain to your sister Linger?" Ha ha ha. The other students had started calling her names and laughed at her as it made her upset. As she heard those harsh remarks, she put her hands around her ears to block all sounds and closed her eyes. Tears started streaking down her cheeks as she was drowned in sadness. Suddenly, sharp flying daggers with blue hilts appeared in the sky, spinning rapidly above her. These daggers were her spirit skills manifesting themselves. Her anger and frustration were slowly triggering her powers, as her spirit energy swirled around her, going wild and out of control. She has gone insane. We should try to calm her down. Are you crazy? She would hurt you if you get close. We need to run. Someone hurry and call the teacher. The students started to back away in fear, as they saw suddenly many sharp daggers appearing and shooting in their direction randomly. One of the students tried to go near her to calm her down, but she was stabbed by the sharp daggers flying that were hovering above the white-haired beauty. The girl couldn't stop the daggers from flying around her as she was crying with closed eyes. "You're a monster. Weirdo. Go cry to your sister Linger. Whyyyyyyyy. I can't remember anything. Why do they call me a monster? What's my fault? Who am I?" Tears dripped down from her eyes and the harsh comments resounded in her mind as she asked herself who she was. Suddenly, she felt a hand on her shoulder that took her off guard in surprise as students stayed away from her like she was a plague and feared her spirit power. There was not a single student who would have come near her as she always lost control and wounded them. The academy's elders had closed their eyes on it as the white-haired beauty was the daughter of the Shangwan clan. The girl opened her eyes to see the uninvited guest who had put a hand on her shoulder. A boy was standing in front of her with a few sharp daggers that had stabbed around his shoulders and legs. Blood was gushing out from his fresh wounds, but his azure eyes were filled with endless warmth for the person he was gazing at. Moreover, he had a gentle smile on his face as he stared into her red eyes that were originally blue when she didn't summon her spirit. For me, you're an angel, someone with whom I want to be forever. I pray to heaven to lock us into a place where time doesn't flow. So that we will be stuck there at the moment, just you and me together. I would want to tell you there I love you every second, but yes, seconds do not exist at that place. So I will say I love you with each breath, with each smile, with each kiss, and when I die, you can come out of that place, begin the time, and know that we were forever in the moment when you were mine. The girl's eyes wide opened as all the daggers disappeared right away. Her heart thumped frantically as she gazed at an unknown boy who came out of nowhere in front of her. Her eyes, which were dripping with tears earlier, started flowing again as if she found her lost kin. Where have I heard this? Why do his words seem so familiar? Who is he? Shangwan Binger was astonished to hear those flowery words from the strange but familiar boy. Even if your conscious mind forgot the memories, your soul will always keep them. There is no way you would not remember these words that you told me in our previous life when even my family called me a monster. Yu Yan smiled at her as she looked at him dumbfounded. They had a weird relationship created by their fate. In a previous life, she had told these words to him when everyone called him a monster and hated him. There was only one person by his side who didn't think he was a monster and actually adored him, even though he didn't reciprocate her love until a long time. At this time history was repeated differently as the girl didn't know who he was and she was getting called a monster while the boy was going to love her even though she didn't remember him. Soon, the class teacher and a crimson-haired beauty came rushing in their direction. The newly arrived girl was in a warrior getup and a long sword was placed on her waist. Her firm bosom was hiding behind her armors as they were tightly covering it. She had a fierce expression on her face, but it failed to hide her beauty. Seeing him injured, the female teacher said in concerning tone, "Hey, you need to get treatment sooner. You are bleeding." "It's fine." The boy mumbled, still staring into her sapphire eyes which were looking at him as if he was a great mystery she desired to unveil. Equals 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 slash forward slash forward slash forward slash equals 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 equals. Snow note, important. The novel will be renamed to My 5 Beautiful Girlfriends in the Spirit World in a week or two as that name would suit it better. Underscore 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 underscore. Please vote with power stones and golden tickets to support this book. Like it. Add to the library. Edited by The White Snow. Chapter 46 Shangwan Linger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing that the boy was injured and had open wounds, the female teacher said in concerning tone, "Come with me, you need to get treatment. You are bleeding." "It's fine, teacher." The boy mumbled, still staring into the white-haired beauty's sapphire eyes which were looking at him as if he was a great mystery she desired to unveil. Her gaze was filled with many questions, but the most she wished to know was the identity of this boy in front of her who injured himself to tell her she wasn't a monster. Moreover, he confessed to her that he wants to be forever with her. The newly arrived crimson-haired beauty took her sister in a big hug. She asked worriedly, "Binger, are you all right?" "Yeah, I'm fine now." The girl responded calmly as she thought about what the boy had said to him. "I love you with each breath, with each smile, with each kiss. Know that we were forever in the moment when you were mine." As his words resounded in her mind she realized what he meant. Binger had a confused expression jumbling her heart as she hissed at him, "Hey. Hearing her words directed towards the boy, Linger scrunched her eyebrows and turned to look at Yu Yen, who had wounds on his shoulders and legs as the sharp daggers had already vanished since Binger had calmed down. "What did you do to my sister?" Linger questioned, her voice was filled with fierceness as if she would chew him alive. A feeble smile spread on his face as he said, "You shouldn't be so aggressive, Missy. Learn from your sweet sister, she is so gentle and adorable yet you're violent like a tigress." "You." Linger gritted her teeth and unsheathed her long sword from the scabbard hanging on her waist as she was angered. However, a hand held her sleeve to interrupt her in middle. Binger whispered to her, "That strange boy helped me to calm my emotions when I wasn't able to control my powers." As the crimson-haired beauty heard the truth, her eyes softened. She had misunderstood him earlier, but still, his comment was on point as he called her an aggressive tigress. "Oh boy, you really need to get treatment. I'm taking you with me." The female teacher held his hand as she was going to drag him away since he wasn't understanding the seriousness of his injuries. "Don't worry, teacher. I'm a healer spirit ranker," the boy said with a calm voice to the lady in front of him. The female teacher had shoulder-length black hair and was in her late 20s with a seductive figure which was hiding behind the warrior armors that made her look like the older sister of Shangguan Linger even though they weren't one. Yu Yen summoned his spirit power of Guardian Shield and cast Life Bloom on himself. Verdant radiance covered his body as green leaves swirled around him, colliding with his fresh wounds and giving him a cold sensation that tickled and healed his injuries at a fast pace. Except for the torn clothes on his shoulders and legs with blood-staining marks, he was all fine after the light faded away. "Brilliant." The black-haired lady's eyes were filled with surprise as she praised him. Other students had started approaching their teacher as they saw the girl had controlled her powers and a boy was covered in gleaming verdant light. After closing the distance, the first thing they did was complain. "She almost killed us. She even injured one of us who went to calm her down. You need to fix this problem, teacher, she can't control her spirit powers." Hearing all the allegations about her doll-like cute sister, Linger was going to erupt like a volcano to take her side, but a voice interrupted her advance in the middle. "Well, if these bunch of fools didn't call her monster, her spirit wouldn't have lost control at all. It's not her fault, it was all done by these idiots." Yu Yen berated his new classmates and exposed them all in front of the black-haired lady. "Is he saying the truth?" the female teacher asked, staring at all the students. Some had their eyes looking at the ground and others were brimming with nervousness, which revealed that what he said was correct. The white-haired beauty gazed at the boy with a cold glint in her eyes as she saw the second person taking her side beside her sister. Shame on you guys. Except that girl who tried to help Shangguan Binger, all of you will do 30 rounds around the field without using your spirit energy after the class is over. Whoever doesn't complete the task wouldn't be dismissed from the class today, and those who use spirit energy or spirit skill will have to do 10 additional rounds every time they cheat," the female teacher announced in a chilly voice as she commanded everyone. "No, this is unfair." It was others who called her names. "We are innocent, teacher." The poor students cried in disagreements as some of them were drowned in the punishment with their fellow classmates. Sun Hong and this new boy tried to help her while all of you just watched your fellow classmates bully a sweet girl like Shangguan Binger. You all deserve it. Her grumbled voice resounded in the training ground. The students feared getting expelled, so they had to finish the 30 rounds at all costs. The female teacher turned around to look at the magnificent healer boy who was standing beside her. "Thank you for saving our student and telling me the truth about the matter. No worries. She is my classmate, so I'm going to look after her as a good fellow student," Yu Yen said in a composed manner. A mystery glint was flickering in his azure eyes. "What do you mean, classmate? You are not from our section." Linger's voice was filled with bewilderment as she watched the boy with a predator-like gaze. Could you be the newly transferred student headmaster was talking about?" The teacher spoke in a surprised manner as she realized who he was. "Yes, teacher. I'm Yu Yen." he said, his face was relaxed. Yu Yen. Yu Yen. Yu Yen. Shangguan Binger mumbled inwardly and blinked a few times in an adorable way. Okay, welcome to your new class section D of the second year. I'm Teacher Zhao. Let me introduce you to everyone. The teacher said, her voice was being polite towards the boy. Hey everyone, he is a newly transferred student Yu Yen. He will be joining our class today. Due to some bad event, his spirit energy rank was reduced to 31, but he is a very talented student. Hope you guys will treat him better, the teacher announced in a nonchalant manner. Headmaster had found a weird reason for my transfer to this class. Yu Yen sighed inwardly. There was a look of hostility in most of the students as they stared at their new classmates. Yeah, after how we got punished because of him, we would be welcoming him with an open heart. We can't do much about Shangguan Binger because of her clan, but this fellow, he is finished. His healing skills gonna come to his help a lot after how he got into all of our bad lists. Seems like our class has an interesting boy. Let's see how long he can be this arrogant before crumbling down. Sun Hong, he is so handsome. Some of the voices resounded in the back row of the students as they discussed among themselves. The teacher ignored them and said, sorry, I was late as headmaster called me to his office. Today's combat lesson would be about fighting without using spirit skills. On the battlefield, sometimes you get into a situation when you won't able to use your spirit skills, so it's very important to learn physical combat and get experience in it. The best way to understand it would be fighting with your fellow classmates in a friendly battle. To give you all a demo on physical combat without using spirit skills, our new students Yu Yen and Shangguan Linger will fight and show us. Teacher Zhao explained and declared the two participants' names for their first combat duel match. Great. You called me aggressive, now I will show you what this violent lady would do to you, even though I'll hold myself back because you helped my sister. Linger was joyous in her heart as she was planning to give this new guy a lesson. Hearing he only had 31 spirit energy rank, the crimson-haired beauty had enough confidence to bully him with her many years of practice, considering she was the strongest of the section D second-year class. Yu Yen didn't take her much in his eyes. For him, she was not important even if she was prettier like her sister. The boy had 3 inner court goddesses waiting for him at his place, and he had caused chaos every time he walked on this land. So a young girl of outer court was not much of a challenge for him. He ignored her expression, which was telling him she would take revenge for his words earlier. Should I ask Linger to not harm him? She might be mad at him for talking to her rudely. Shangguan Binger gazed at the relaxed boy who was calmly standing in front of her even though he was going to face her sister. Equals // Snow note, important, the novel will be renamed to My 5 Beautiful Girlfriends in the Spirit World in a week or two, as that name would suit it better. Underscore 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 underscore. Please vote with power stones and golden tickets to support this book. Like it. Add to the library. Edited by The White Snow. Chapter 47 Duel with Linger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Linger and Yu Yen stood in the middle of battleground within the grass field, facing each other as the crimson-haired beauty had determination in her eyes to give a lesson to this rude boy who dared to say her bitter words. The young maiden was both skilled in hand-to-hand combat and different fighting styles. Although her main expertise was with the long sword, she had the confidence to defeat the new black-haired boy who was even lower in spirit energy rank than her, as she didn't consider him a strong rival in her eyes. Shangguan Linger was unaware of the fact Yu Yen was the true form of the golden dragon who wreaked havoc in the divine realm many years ago and had more than enough experience to thrash any experts of this world if he was given enough time to grow. The girl began to circle him as she tried to observe his emotions and reactions. The boy was calmly standing, his hands were crossed and eyes closed, enjoying the peacefulness around him as if not taking her seriously. Ah, this stupid boy. He is making fun of me. Linger gritted her teeth as she saw how casually he was standing in the middle as if walking in his personal garden. Haha. Watch that idiot. He knows he is going to lose, so not even trying to resist. I think he is overly confident, that's why he is standing there. Don't be a fangirl already. At least we get to see a match where Shengwan Linger would thrash this boy even though he helped her sister. It's a pity his opponent is Shengwan Linger. The students talked among themselves as the duel had started. They didn't have much hope for their new classmate as they were all aware of the crimson-haired beauty's strength. The girl was the first to strike, launching a swift kick at Yu Yan's side in a plan to defeat him with one single attack. However, her opponent casually moved to the side, dodging it without any effort. His movements were light and gentle as he didn't rush or showed fear of getting hit. Linger turned around to punch him, but the boy sidestepped again. She increased her strength and started chasing him with better agility as she attacked one after another with her fierce punches and violent kicks. The boy had his eyes closed as he focused on the wind current present around him to easily dodge all those flying attacks coming his way. His spiritual power that increased mental power was on a higher level due to his immortal Azura eyes, spirit. This helped him get a better grasp of his surroundings and boosted his senses. Yu Yan moved like a gentle breeze as if dancing in the grass field while the crimson-haired beauty attacked him like an enraged predator losing its prey from the clutches. The female students had their eyes enamored as they watched their new classmate fighting their strongest student without any frown on his face. Yu Yan opened his eyes to peek at Shengwan Binger and could see her concerned expression. She isn't liking her sister getting badly defeated. A man has to sacrifice sometimes to win on another day. But her loving man will have to disappoint her today. The boy sighed inwardly and stopped dodging the crimson-haired beauty's attack, who was one-sided, getting bullied by his ghostly walk. The next attack didn't miss as it was quickly blocked by Yu Yan's palm and took the strong impact. Did he get tired? Linger thought as she sent the barrage of attacks toward her opponent. Yu Yan cancelled all the attacks with his palms at the last minute and obstruct them all. The girl followed in with a roundhouse kick, but he sidestepped to dodge it as he wasn't planning to lose any time soon. Linger began to grow increasingly frustrated as she couldn't land a single hit on him. She started to become more aggressive, her punches and kicks became more wild and uncontrolled as her anger was driving her crazy. Yu Yan took advantage of her carelessness and landed a few gentle pats on her head one after another, boosting her annoyance to a higher level. Feeling this was not going anywhere, she let out a fierce yell and charged at him with all her might. She threw punches and kicks with no care of her womanly grace and elegance, but the boy easily parried them and blocked each one with a smile on his face to provoke her even further. The crimson-haired beauty was getting more and more exhausted, her movements becoming slower and clumsier. Finally, she threw a violent fist at his face, but Yu Yan caught it with one hand and twisted her arm behind her back, which caused her to let out a cry of pain. "You shouldn't try so hard," he said to her in a calm voice and released his grip before giving a friendly pat on the back. The girl turned back to see the boy was walking out of the duel area. She ran towards him using her spirit energy to get him from behind as the crimson-haired beauty was enraged. Yu Yan had a mysterious glint flickering in his eyes as if his plan had worked. Just when she was about to attack his back, he turned around and locked his legs into her as they both stumbled onto the ground. The sudden action took Linger unprepared and caused her to fall as the crimson-haired beauty realized she landed on top of him. Their contrasting eyes met as he was gazing into her without any worry and she was glaring at him in bewilderment and shyness. An aromatic scent of plum blossom invaded his nostril as he enjoyed the sensation of her firm mounds that pressed on his chest. The crimson-haired beauty was flustered as she lay on top of him, as their hot breath brushed past each other's faces. "Don't fall for me, missy, I'm not a good thing," he said in a nonchalant tone and pushed her away from his body as if she was a burden weighing him down. This surprised all the students who were watching their one-sided battle. Not only the boy easily defeated her but also pushed this beauty from his body harshly. The male students were cursing him when Yu Yan was pressed down beneath their goddess, but their mouths became agape as he pushed her away from his body. No one expected the new student would treat the Shangguan Linger this coldly, as if he didn't have an eye for beauty. Yu Yan stood up, patting his clothes as he walked in the teacher's direction. When he approached her, he asked, "How was it, teacher?" "Good job, Yu Yan. I didn't expect you to defeat Shangguan Linger. I can see the headmaster was not praising you for nothing. You're really a battle genius, I totally agree with him now." The lady was impressed by his fighting moves as he gracefully led the girl by her nose all around their duel area. Linger clenched her fist and stood up as she was perplexed by the sudden development. Yu Yan nodded to the teacher and saw Shangguan Linger coming in their direction with a face that was red as a tomato. Her adorable sister was standing beside him as they were both near the teacher. Binger said in a polite tone, "Thanks for going easy on her." "How do you know I was going easy on her?" the boy asked, his eyes shining with a hint of surprise. "It's just my instinct that tells you're not what you appear," the white-haired beauty said quietly. Shangguan Linger had just come to their side as the duo stopped their conversation. "You won today, but you won't be lucky next time if I used my sword to fight you," the girl said in an annoyed tone. "You can use swords if you want, but I don't have time to waste on you," the boy answered her in an emotionless voice. "You act all high and noble. But you're just an arrogant brat who doesn't know there is always a sky above the one we see." Shangguan Linger grumbled and berated him. "Well, bring that higher heaven to me and see if it can make me bow down my head before you," Yu Yan answered, putting his hands on his jaw while another hand was crossing posture. "Ah, that you make me so angry." She kicked the ground beneath her and stormed out of the training field. Teacher Zhao instructed other students to practice the duel without using their spirit energy as the class continued. When it was Shangguan Binger turns, the lady said, "You already had it enough today, so you should rest." "Thank you, teacher." The white-haired beauty expressed her gratitude as she disliked the combat training classes the most due to the reason of not being able to control her spirit. "However, I want you to be Yu Yan's guide to help him with our classes and how much he is left behind in the syllabus. He is new here and I can't ask other students except you as they are all hostile towards him." Teacher Zhao asked politely. "That?" Binger hesitated as this would anger her sister. "It's okay. You don't need to stress about it. I will manage it myself," the boy assured her as he didn't like seeing her frowning over a such trivial matter. "Sorry. Okay, that I will be your guide, that I also have something to ask you," Binger said as her eyes were filled with enigmatic questions. Equals slash forward slash equals Snow note, important, the novel will be renamed to My 5 Beautiful Girlfriends in the Spirit World in a week or two, as that name would suit it better. Underscore 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 underscore. Please vote with power stones and golden tickets to support this book. Like it. Add to the library. Edited by The White Snow. Chapter 48. I'm a Demon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sorry. Okay, that I will be your guide, that I also have something to ask you, Binger said as her eyes were filled with enigmatic questions. Yu Yan was joyous in his heart as he was finally going to have some alone time with his Binger. He wasn't thinking to make any advances by being impatient, as he believed to build a strong foundation for their beautiful bonding first. Although he wasn't nice to Linger, but he understood being so sweet with girls would only chase them away. If he wanted them to come after him, then he needed to push them away first. Most people didn't like the easy thing, they liked challenges, so Yu Yan appeared as if he didn't have an interest in Shangguan Linger. However, His intention from the start was to trap her in his net to make her focus on him like he was her favorite prey. The innocent girl had already walked into his evil plan to steal the heart of her adorable sister. If I'm not wrong, she would come back to me again with another plan to take revenge for today. This would lead Binger to feel bad for me, and ultimately it will help me in the long term. The boy had his evil strategy all set up to conquer the girl he loved. He wasn't going to back down just because the white-haired beauty had lost her memories. He had already done a mistake in his first life by not going after Tsang Shui when she lost her memories. The boy wasn't here to walk the same path again. This time he won't let history repeat itself. Shangwan Binger and Yu Yan walked together around the training field as she told him about the topics they had finished and what was going to start. Teacher was saying they would split us into teams in upcoming class to make us learn how to better work and fight in groups. So you should be nice to others and befriend them, or they won't take you into their teams. The girl said, her voice was unemotional. Why do I need to befriend others when you can choose me as your teammate too? The boy asked with questioning eyes, as if they were best friends and it was her responsibility to not abandon him. I won't take you in my team. I am only talking to you today because you helped me earlier somehow. The girl responded coldly as she didn't like communicating with others. It was already a miracle she agreed to give him a tour, which was all due to the puzzling questions she had in her delicate heart. Can we be friends? The boy asked suddenly. He was trying his luck. I don't make friends, she said in a stiff voice and turned him down. Okay, how about being my girlfriend then, the boy said with a bright smile. Do you want to get a beating? She crossed her hands and stared at him. Don't be like that, Binger, I'll fall for you. He said, his voice was calm as he found her actions cute. Why you said those words to me earlier when I lost control over my powers? Binger scrunched her eyebrows and asked the question that disturbed her all this time. She knew people wouldn't randomly confess without a good reason. The white-haired beauty could see how he wasn't interested in her sister, who was the outer court's beauty and genius of class, but came after Shangwan Binger, who was known as a crazy person. You reminded me of my friend from childhood who used to say these words to me when others called me a monster. So I just repeated them to you in the hope to calm you down. He told her half the truth, remembering the serene Shangwan Binger from his earth who took care of him. Friend. Childhood. The white-haired beauty mumbled. She was in bewilderment hearing his answer. Yeah. She was just like you. A living angel. The boy said, looking into her beautiful perplexed eyes. I'm not an angel. I'm a demon that everyone calls me. Next time don't come near me or you will be killed when I lose control of my power. Moreover, I don't like you. The white-haired beauty said in a chilly voice before turning around to walk away. Her heartbeat was thumping frantically as she escaped the training ground. Why is it beating so fast? She mumbled inwardly, patting her rounded left mound gently to calm her heart, and didn't understand what was happening. Yu Yan watched her leaving figure and sighed. It's only the first day. I have a long way to go. The boy didn't expect to succeed on his first try, so he wasn't demotivated. He walked towards a thick tree and sat by the support of its trunk. Open profile. Shangwan Linger stormed into her room and threw herself on her bed that was placed on the left side. What does he think of himself? How dare he? The crimson-haired beauty was grumbling on her comfortable bed as she was mad at that boy for humiliating her. 20 minutes later, the door of the room opened and a ravishing figure entered. The white-haired beauty went to sit beside her sister as she saw her on her bed stressing about something. What happened, Linger? She asked as she ruffled her silky crimson hair. The grumbling beauty was keeping her face snuggled into a pillow, being full of annoyance. He was treating me like I'm nobody. I don't like that fellow, her irritated muffled voice sounded. I also found him strange. Unlike others who avoid me and go after you, this Yu Yan is the opposite. He wanted to be my friend while ignoring you. The white-haired beauty said in a puzzled tone. What? I thought he just helped you calm down and nothing more. Whatever, he is still very rude. Ah. I want to punch him so badly. She sat up beside her and said with puffed cheeks. Didn't you see I injured him, but he still took my side in front of the teacher? Binger asked. He must have some hidden motive. Probably he wants some favor from us. The crimson-haired beauty said as she didn't trust that annoying boy. Have you thought about how would you avoid that boy from the Wong clan who has to send a marriage proposal to you? Binger said as she wanted to change the topic. No, but luckily he is not in our section, Linger responded, her voice sounding more annoyed when it was about the Wong clan's boy. Soon her eyes flickered with a mysterious glint as she cooked up something mischievous. Ah, that I have a solution. That how about I befriend this new guy and ask him to be my fake boyfriend in front of Wong Min? Linger said, her face had a bright smile that was asking Binger for approval. Why would you do such an evil thing, sister? Binger didn't like her plan and showed her disagreement. This boy doesn't have feelings for me, so he wouldn't be hurt if he act like my boyfriend for some time, considering he won't fall for me like others since he treats me so rudely. This should probably help me to chase away that boy from Wang's clan. In the worst scenario, Yu Yan may get beaten by Wang Min, but that's also a good thing as he would be punished for humiliating me. Linger described her master plan as an evil glint flickered in her eyes. Not that this is wrong, that you shouldn't use him as your toy for fulfilling personal goals. Binger didn't like it and tried to convince her sister. She felt bad thinking that boy would get hurt because of her sister and didn't want to see him in pain. The white-haired beauty was already had her heart in a mess when she saw him in blood, but she couldn't point out why she was feeling so strange for the first time. Do you then want me to get married to someone I don't like? Do you care about that new friend of yours more than me? Linger asked in an annoyed tone and crossed her hands. No, but. She looked in hesitation as she was stuck between taking the side of her heart and mind. Her heart was saying to not hurt this boy, but her mind was saying to help her sister. But what? Does my sweet sister want to see me as a goat going to the slaughterhouse? Linger asked with puppy eyes as she was melting her sister. Ah, did I surrender? How are you going to befriend him now that you both had a sour interaction? Binger accepted defeated and asked the most concerning question. Why do I need to worry when I have such a beautiful sister who he probably likes? If you ask him, he may agree. Linger replied with an evil smile. No, I'm not going to take advantage of him, Binger refused. Please, please, please. I beg you, please. Linger had her both hands in requesting posture as she pleaded to her sister. Equals // Snow note, important. The novel will be renamed to My 5 Beautiful Girlfriends in the Spirit World in a week or two, as that name would suit it better. Underscore 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 underscore. Please vote with power stones and golden tickets to support this book. Like it. Add to the library. Edited by The White Snow. Chapter 49, Forming Teams. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I am feeling bad for him, but I'll just ask him one time for you and won't force it. Let's see what he says. Binger agreed at the end, but she was still thinking of taking his permission too. Thank you, Binger. I love you, my sweetheart. She kissed her sister's cheek and hugged her tightly. The giggles of the Shengguan sisters sounded in the room as they discussed about their evil plan for the boy. These two girls didn't know that the mischievous plan they were making against Yu Yan was going to be in his favor, as he was just finding a way to be around his darling Binger. At his sweet home, the girls were taking care of his every need and didn't let him have any problems. Shui Ro was having a hard time accepting the other two women beside her, as they were both well-known figures of the past she grew up hearing stories about. The next day, Yu Yan joined the Shangguan sisters for the lecture class as he entered the teaching building. Section D of the second year was on the second floor as he was following the map given by Yuna to locate it. After looking carefully, he found his class and stylishly combed his hair to the backside with his hands as he was about to enter in a noble manner. Students had already filled most seats at the front and mid-row. He moved his eyes to count them and noticed there were 25 students excluding him. His gaze stopped at the last row as two beautiful figures were sitting there. Shangguan sisters had their seats together at the last, but the spots beside them were all empty as students were avoiding his girlfriend like a plague. "There is my Binger." The boy looked into her eyes as she was staring back at him. He gave her a feeble smile and went to take the next seat in the last row beside her. All the students started giving him weird looks as he was fearlessly sitting with the monster girl. Soon, a middle-aged man entered the class. He stood on the ascended platform near the front wall and watched his students. "Today we will discuss about the spirits and their skills. As all of you know, those who are born with spirit are called spirit rankers. But most importantly, the tier of these spirits decides how many skills you will gain. Red to yellow grade spirit gives you 3 skills while green to violet provides you with 4 skills. You also need to remember, the higher the tier, the stronger the skills. Additionally, if you have a high-grade spirit, then you don't need to worry about giving them your spirit energy to cast the skill, as they keep absorbing it from heaven and earth and have their own energy within their body. You can also boost the impact of a skill giving your spirit energy into it, enhancing the skill to a higher level." The middle-aged man described in a nonchalant manner. "But Teacher Liang, you didn't tell us about the silver grade spirit." Shangguan Linger asked as she wanted to know about the higher grade spirit she read about in books. "It's been lost already with the flow of time, and there is only one person who is known to have a silver grade spirit, so I didn't think about mentioning it. I only know that the silver grade spirit provides you with 5 skills and they are a lot stronger than the rest of the other grades below it." Teacher Liang explained. "Who is that person, teacher?" one of the boys asked as he was curious who could have had silver grade spirit. "It's Saintess." Liang's voice was filled with respect when he mentioned her name. As the teacher was busy telling about spirit, Yu Yan was enjoying gazing at his Binger as he kept his face between his hands and looked at the white-haired beauty as if she was the most ravishing creation of the Supreme God. His eyes were enamored as he kept looking at her. Binger could feel his constant gaze as she turned around to see how he was staring at her. She took out a pencil and moved to poke his shoulder. Yu Yan rubbed the place where she stabbed and asked, "What happened, Binger? Don't look at me like that," she said. Her voice was cold but also flustered as nobody had ever gazed at her this way. For the record, even her parents looked at her as if she was some bad thing, because when she woke up from her coma the sharp daggers were hovering all around her and would attack whoever approached her. It took Linger a few months to get close to the white-haired beauty and tame her, as she didn't like her sister to always be in tears and people calling her monster. But this boy, he broke her common sense and started treating her as if she was an artistic beauty that he loved to gaze at. Yu Yan didn't listen to her demand, as this was the only goal he was here for. He knew he had to deal with both girls differently. If Shangguan Linger needed to be pushed away, then Binger required to be loved, as she was always hated by others. After theory classes ended, the students walked towards the training ground for their next session. Teacher Zhao was waiting for them as she had arrived earlier. "As I have instructed you in the past, select your team members and form a group. Today is the day you would split into teams consisting of 4 members and fight one against another to learn how to work in a group. In an ideal team, there needs to be a support, a tank, and 2 damage dealer. A team with 2 damage dealers that are ranged and offensive is considered best, as you would able to defeat your enemy easily." "Okay, then we will start. It's time for you to form a team now. You have 10 minutes to submit to me the name of members and the team leader." Teacher Zhao explained the criteria. As she finished, the students started walking to their pre-formed group members to create their team. Yu Yan stayed alone as he watched everyone making a team and noticed Shangwan Linger was arguing with Sun Hong girl who tried to approach Binga yesterday with good intentions but got injured. Didn't you agree to join us? Linger asked in an annoyed tone. Yeah, but she injured me. If I joined your team then there is no guarantee she wouldn't harm us. Please forgive me Shangwan Linger, she apologized to one more girl as they left the crimson-haired beauty to join another team. Due to this, there was a team of 3 and a team of 2 left at the end. Linger, you should join their team as they just need one. Binger tried to convince her sister. Nah. I am happy with you even if it's just 2 of us, that we don't need more people to thrash them all. The crimson-haired beauty said as she didn't regret being outcast by others because of her sister. Just as they were discussing, they heard the teacher's voice questioning the other team that had 3 members. Do you guys not want to take Yu Yan on your team? The lady asked. She wanted to help this boy who was favored by the headmaster. No, teacher. We don't need such an arrogant boy on our team. Moreover, he is so weak that he will slow us down. The leader of the team, a brawny boy, responded in a voice filled with bitterness as his body was still aching from running 30 rounds around the training ground. What should I do now? This boy has become the enemy of the whole class by protecting that poor girl against them. As she was thinking, her eyes moved to 2 girls standing not far away. Ah, Shangwan Linger, do you want to take him on your team? The teacher asked, looking at her with expectant eyes. Does he want to join us knowing he can get hurt? Linger asked, crossing her hands and gazing at the black-haired boy who was known for his arrogance just in one day. Say Yu Yan. The lady directed the question to him. I don't mind. I will join if they want. These children can't match us if these sisters get such legendary support in their team, Yu Yan bragged as he walked to their side. Shameless that we will show you how we crush you when we have a battle. Yeah. Let's show this brat that big mouth won't help him in the fight. It's no use that they are only 3, that they would lose easily because of numbers. The students were enraged by his boasting and they cursed him. Okay, perfect. We have 5 teams of 4 and 2 teams of 3 members. The teacher clapped her hand once to get their attention and spoke. Equals // Snow note, important, the novel will be renamed to My 5 Beautiful Girlfriends in the Spirit World in a week or 2 as that name would suit it better. Underscore 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 underscore. Please vote with power stones and golden tickets to support this book. Like it. Add to the library. Edited by The White Snow. Chapter 50. He is my darling. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, perfect. We have 5 teams made of 4 and 2 teams with 3 members. The teacher clapped her hand once to get their attention and spoke in a nonchalant voice. The students were standing with their own groups as the lady declared the number of total teams. They waited for further instruction as their teacher had told them there was going to be a special task after they form a team which wasn't known by Yu Yan. Since we have made the 7 teams, I will give you your special mission now. Everyone has to go to the nearby Silver Moon village where people are facing some problems and are in a bad situation right now. Your task is to go there and finish the requests of villagers and solve all their trouble. The team will get marks for how much they assist the villagers to get out of their dire situations and clean up the village's mess. Your mission would start tomorrow. Until then you have time to prepare your stuff. The team has to work together and get as much reputation as possible until we declare the end of this mission. Other section teams would also participate in this mission, so you need to get as many reputation points as possible to get the victory as a section. Additionally, the team with the highest reputation points will be granted additional points for their section. For this special mission, the rules are simple. You can't bring anything or anyone with you except 2 sets of clothes. If the students are found to break the rule or harm villagers, they will be expelled from the Tianhai Academy and will be punished severely. The teacher explained in a serious tone as she gave them a mission and described the rules. Most students were already aware that there was going to be a secret task as they had received similar missions in the first year. The Tianhai Academy gave the mission to its student to prepare them for the future by putting them in real life difficulties. This helped them to mold for different situations and think better when they faced problems in the future. After her announcement, she dismissed the class and walked out of the training field. Yu Yan noticed all the students going to their own selected spots and started discussing about the special task given by teacher Zhao with the team they formed. He moved his gaze and looked at the two beautiful girls beside him who were staring at him as if he was a vile criminal. "What?" he asked, scrunching his eyebrows. "What favor do you want that you're chasing us?" Linger decided to ask as she couldn't understand why he would join them without any secret motive. He had a lower spirit energy rank than other students, yet he didn't mind joining their team where he could get injured, not forgetting that the boy was once already stabbed by her sister's spirit power. They knew there was no free lunch in this world and something too good to be true didn't exist. "I'm not chasing you. I just don't fear Binger like others." "Is that a bad thing, or you are jealous that I like her more than you?" he asked, putting his hand near his jaw and looking at the crimson-haired beauty with a suspicious gaze. "Why would I be jealous of my beloved sister?" She gritted her teeth as this boy was angering her for no reason. "Then don't doubt my virtuous heart. I'm the nicest person you will ever meet," he said, as a flashback of slaughtering billions of people appeared in his mind. A thunder clattering sounded in the sky as if laughing at his funny joke. The Shangguan sisters and Yu Yan both looked at the sky at this phenomenon. The other students also found it abnormal to hear thunder roaring without rain or dark clouds. "Look, even heaven is agreeing with me." The boy knew no shame as he used this to his advantage. Binger said, "It can also be saying, you're laying. Even you doubt this Yu Yan who is as pure as the divine realm." The boy spoke, however, the thunder reverberated once again to laugh at his amusing performance. Why do these goddamn clouds react to my words? Can't they leave me alone with my Binger?" The boy was speechless, but the girl didn't think much and decided to not question him anymore. They had their own plan against him and both sisters required his aid. "Okay, we shouldn't argue since we are a team now. Tomorrow you need to be ready before sunset around 5. We will set off on our journey to the Silver Moon Village as it will require us to pass the forest to reach our destination." Linger spoke to him in a calm voice, which was nicer than before as she remembered how he was going to be used by her. "Why so early?" he asked as the boy wanted to prepare before leaving. Others won't able to bring stuff, but he could as he had a system inventory that was able to store a few things. Even if they were inspected at the village they wouldn't able to check his system's belonging. "Because we need to study the village and its people. If we want to get a lead we need to reach there first and take the best quest to complete." "Do you think other students would wait for Great Yu Yan to have the best task given by villagers?" she asked in amusement as the crimson-haired beauty loved to mock him. "Okay, I will come in the morning," he answered. It's weird Binger is calm when this boy is nearby. Usually, she wouldn't like anyone standing closer to her besides me. Linger was thinking inwardly as her sister wasn't reacting to this boy's presence. Yu Yan was also not aware of how much of a big advantage he had over his Binger as he didn't know the white-haired beauty would hate others talking to her. Why does my heart get peaceful around him? Not only that, but when I start going away from him it starts to beat frantically. What's happening with me? Binger was unable to understand the mystery of why this boy was able to keep her calm so that she didn't panic or annoyed. She couldn't understand the unknown emotions that were raising for this boy. As they were standing together in the training field, they noticed another boy coming in their direction. He looked around 20 years old with long black hair that came to his chest which was tied by a white band at the end. Yu Yan noticed the crimson-haired beauty had her face darkened and Binger also looked unhappy. Hey, please play along. Linger said in hurry and moved to wrap her hands around his right one. Hey, what are you doing? Yu Yan was about to push her away. But a voice stopped him as Binger asked in requesting tone, please. Can you help my sister to chase away that boy? She doesn't want to marry him and he is coming after her because our parents are friends. Yu Yan was dumbfounded hearing her, but he was also happy as this was the first wish of his Binger that she asked from him in this life. He was going to help her since there was nothing to lose, but he still wanted to question her. Are you sure? Won't you regret this? He asked, a mysterious light glinting in his azure eyes. Why would I regret it? She questioned him, scrunching her eyebrows. She was puzzled because she couldn't think of a single reason to regret this, as this was her sister's happiness. You will understand what I mean in the future. Yu Yan said as he could already predict what was going to happen. Soon they heard the footsteps getting closer as a figure came to stand in front of the trio. He frowned when he saw Shangwan Binger not backing away like always. Whenever he came to talk to Linger, the white-haired beauty would walk away from them, which was because she didn't like it when others came near her. Linger didn't find it strange because her sister was already calmly stood with Yu Yan earlier. She thought Binger is healing now and might get more social in the future. But this was due to Yu Yan's presence that made her stable, which was unknown by all three of them. Wang Min's eyes were annoyed when he saw Shangwan Linger was hugging another boy in front of him. He asked in an irritated tone, who is he? His voice was irked because nobody would like it if the girl they want to marry was coiling around someone else. He is my Ling, Linger said in a sweet voice, placing her head on his shoulder. Her hands were wrapped around his hand. == // Snow note, important, the novel will be renamed to My 5 Beautiful Girlfriends in the Spirit World in a week or two, as that name would suit it better. ______________________ Please vote with Power Stones and Golden Tickets to support this book. Like it. Add to the library. Edited by The White Snow.